Hello to my dear friend Jalene. I am so excited to be able to make this video today. Dennis texted me and said you're having kind of a hard couple of days, and I've been keeping my family up on how you're doing, and when I told him it was a hard time for you, we all decided that the best thing we could do to cheer you up is to make fun videos about some of our fun memories with you and your family. So we're going to have a fun time, and the kids are going to give some of their memories, and then I will give some of my memories at the end. So I hope you enjoy this, Jalene, and I hope it makes you laugh. I hope it doesn't get too tender, that makes you cry, but we want you to know how much we love you. All right, have fun.
Hi, Jalene and Weston family. I just wanted to say hi and send you my love. I, like everybody else, my childhood memories are filled with visiting your house and playing and having sleepovers with Denny and just having a wonderful childhood and always spending time with you guys. And it was a very happy childhood and a very happy time and place to go play. As I was thinking about you, Jalene, and thinking about all the times we spent together, I remembered in high school with band how you and my mom were like the band moms, and you guys worked together so often to do wonderful things, and how our senior year I had the harebrained idea that if I took charge of the big band dance, that it would go better than we've ever had it. And I just thought that it'd be fantastic if we ran the food and everything. And I was so proud of my accomplishment of doing this fantastic big band dance. It was so successful. But now as a mom, I realize I wasn't successful. You and my mom were successful. And Dennis and my dad cooking all those steaks a million miles an hour, and you and my mom and a couple of other moms prepping all the meals and stuff. What was I thinking? You guys did a very successful big band dance, and I'm so grateful. Me and Denny were super lucky to be the babies of these big, wonderful families and have these fantastic moms that always took care of us and loved us, and we were always there together. So just wanted to say I love you and hope the best for you and your family. Bye.
Hi, Jalene. I just wanted to pop on and say a few things to you. You just have seemed like such a staple in our family's life, and all the memories I have with Abby and sleepovers and soccer teams and baseball teams, softball teams, and just feels like my childhood just has you in it. And one thing I wanted to share is just happened a couple months ago. You came over to have lunch with my mom at my mom's house, and you wanted to see my baby Jenna, and so yeah, she's right here. So my mom called me and said, come show Jenna just through the window so Jalene can see Jenna. And so I came over, and as I was walking up to my mom's house, I could see you and my mom sitting at her table through the window. And you two were laughing your heads off, like throw your head back, laughing. It was the cutest thing. It was so fun to see you guys sitting there, even through all of your trials and all of your hard things, sitting there together, two friends from forever and ever and ever, laughing, making each other laugh so hard. And I came up to the window and I showed you my baby, and you were so you were so sweet, and I could hear you through the window saying she's so cute. And anyways, I just thought, as I walked away from watching you two, I thought I need a friend in my life like Jalene has been to my mom, because you've been such a sweet friend to her, and she just always talks about being a young mom with you, and all the things you guys, the support you gave each other, and what a fantastic friendship that's been. And I hope that I can when I'm 60 years old, I can have a friend that I can laugh my head off at, even though we have terrible trials happening in our life. So I just wanted to share that and say how much we love you and care about you, and how I have such happy memories when I think about you and your family.
Hello, Jalene. I wish we were in person instead of having to talk through video, but I'm glad that I get this opportunity to tell you how much you mean to me and how much you've been a part of my life. When I think of you, the first thing I think of is your laugh. I can just hear your laugh and your smile, and that's what I associate with you, is just someone who loves to laugh and who's so happy. I loved how much our family spent time together. Lots of my memories include your family. I loved going over to your home. I thought your girls' bedroom in the basement was the coolest thing ever. It looked like they were like college roommates or something down there. I thought it was so awesome that there was just a room full of girls, and I loved coming to your house. And I loved when you guys added the big room onto your house. That made it so fun to come over for parties. And I remember especially coming over for a Mary Kay party and getting to try out all your makeup. And every time I think of Mary Kay, I think about you and how beautiful you are, and how you've really done an amazing job with being a part of Mary Kay. So yeah, I just loved that I particularly remember when we went to, I think, Jackson Hole with the young adults when I was very little. That was fun. I remember the time that we were on, I think it must have been Lake Powell, and we were on a beach and we like slathered ourselves in mud and took a picture with JB in the middle or something. I don't know. It was just always a great time when we were with the Westons. And I love that my mom's, a lot of her young motherhood memories involve you, like earning money to go to Hawaii by mowing the park lawn. When she tells stories and crazy stories, a lot of times you're involved, and she talks about how you guys would go walking together. And so just so grateful that you were such a good friend to my mom, that you are such a good friend to my mom, that your family was such a part of my childhood. And I just smile when I think of every one of you, and just my heart's full of love for the Westons. So know that I'm thinking of you and praying for you. Bye.
Hello. So today, when my mom told me that she wanted us to just record a few memories, it's been a very fun day. Thinking back about my childhood and about the important role that the Westons had in my life. And the first thing that came to mind, and I don't know why, but it is that we used to be able to stand on our front porch and look through the field and see the Weston house. So one time we had the power go out, and somebody yelled, "Go see if the Weston's power's out." And so we went to the front porch, and we were able to see the Weston's house, and it felt so comforting to know we had such good friends just across the field. And then the houses got built, and I remember when the houses were built, one time I walked out to the front porch and I was like, "Oh, we can't see the Weston's house anymore." But another thing is, I love how important of a friendship my mom had in you, Jalene. And I remember as a kid thinking that was so neat that my mom had such a great best friend. And I remember thinking that I hoped one day I could have a close best friend like that when I was grown up as a mom. And now that I look back, my mom didn't have very many best friends, but you were such an important best friend to my mom. And when she would tell us stories about, and maybe this is why I thought the front porch was so important, that you guys would go running in the morning, and then she would look across the field to see if your light was on before she started running, to make sure that you were awake and you were going to start running. And then my mom and you were going to meet in the middle to start your jogs in the morning. And that, maybe that's why I thought it was so cool to see your front porch and your light, but I thought that was so neat. Another quick memory is that every time we got to go over to the Weston's house for a sleepover, I thought you guys made the best popcorn, and it was so yummy with the butter and the salt, and I just thought that was so neat. And I think that I loved the Westons so much that I just had to become one. And when I saw you, Jalene, years later, you said to me that same thing. I guess you loved us so much, you just had to become a Weston. And I'm super proud to be a Weston, and it's been such a special day to kind of reflect on how important the Westons and Jalene were and are in my life. When I saw you recently, maybe a year ago, you just had such a big smile, and I could just tell that you still, after all these years and kind of me gone my separate way and living my adult life, that you still cared about me. And that's such a special thing to me, and you were such a special part of me growing up, and I'm so grateful that you've been such a great friend to my mom.
Hi Jalene, I am so happy to be able to make this little video for you. My mom's been keeping us updated on you, and when she told us that you were having a rough couple days, we all started just thinking about you and talking about how much we loved you and cared about you and your family, and we were kind of sharing some fun memories. And then we thought we should share these with Jalene. This is so fun. So this is what we've come up with. I just have loved watching you and my mom be best friends. I think it made me feel so close to Amanda growing up. We were especially best friends because our moms were, and we were so proud of you guys. When you guys did your power walking phase, I remember Amanda and I would brag to the other kids that you guys could walk so fast, like as if you were in the Olympic level of power walking. But we just were so happy to have our moms be best friends. I just always felt so welcomed into your home. And welcomed into your kitchen and all the awesome things you baked and all the sleepovers. I know a lot of us have talked about that, but now that I'm a mom, I can't believe you let us sleep over so much. It must have been so much work. But your basement was always so warm and cozy with the fire down there, and just all the fun things that we got to do. And I loved your girls' room, and I just loved how fun you were and how much you laughed. It's probably my favorite thing about you. I loved being in your sewing class. Your sewing room was like a dream for girls. It was so fun. And I also just always remember your white flocked Christmas tree downstairs and how I just thought that was so pretty and magical at Christmas time. I loved how you and my mom got to be our softball coaches. And I think we were the awesome A's, and you and my mom had matching shirts like the team, and we practiced in your big backyard, and you guys would work us so hard and just felt so real and so good. And one time we even played water softball, and it was just so fun. Now that I'm a mom, I just think of all these amazing things that you and my mom facilitated for us, and I just am super impressed and grateful for the time and effort with so many kids that you put into each one of us. Of course, I remember the trip to California and Disneyland, and I always remember you guys had the nicer trailer. I think it was your parents' trailer, but it had 2 doors, and I was kind of jealous of that because you had a big, nice trailer. And then our trip to Lake Powell, that was epic. I remember when we all went skinny dipping at night to cool off, and JB probably didn't like that moment as much as the rest of us did. He had to go like hide at the front of the houseboat. We were all laughing, and oh, it was so fun. It was just so fun to always be with the Westons, and just all the laughter that came with you guys. I remember the Hooper part too, like a lot of people have mentioned or will mention. I was little, so mostly I think I played a lot in the vans with the doors open next to each other. But it was such fun memories, and I just loved being part of the Haas Weston clan. And I've just thought of how many of our childhood memories involve you. Just all my sports, basketball and softball with Amanda in the summer, and swimming and sewing lessons. Those wooden paper dolls we all got for Christmas that had like the clothes that would stick on them. We were so excited to come over to your house and see which ones you guys got, and the different hair colors and different clothes. And I remember when JB and Carrie Ann went to that dance, we all came over to watch them go to the dance, and Amanda and I were so thrilled, and it was so fun. And I loved your big tire swing out front, and just how fun everything at your house always felt. I just love seeing you and my mom laugh together, and I loved watching my dad make you laugh. I miss that. I'm just grateful that we have so many good memories together. And I know that time and distance has kind of pulled us apart. We don't get to see each other as much, but I just wanted to send a message with my love, and just know that I've had such a wonderful time walking down memory lane and thinking how blessed I've been to have you guys a part of our lives, and to be our friends and close enough that it just certainly felt like family. I love your greenhouse, and I love that we always got to come to the side door, because that's the door for friends and family. And I just want you to know that we're thinking of you and praying for you, and praying that you and your family can feel the peace from the Savior, and just know how much we love you.
Hi, Jalene. I just wanted to say hi, and I was thinking about a couple memories that I had with you. There's lots, but the first one that comes to my mind is always all the many hours of special time we got to spend together when I personal trained you, and how much we laughed and cried and everything, and it's really special to me. Another one I was thinking about was how mean I was as a little girl. I know I wasn't being mean, but I could have let you hug and kiss me, and I wouldn't, and I know you probably could have used that. I'm sorry. I wish I could have told myself to let you. There's so many times that we spent with you as a family, and cleaning the park, playing, swimming, you teaching me sewing, just so many things, and I'm so thankful for our friendship. I love you. Bye.
Hi, Jalene and Weston family. I wanted to make a little video for you today, and tell you how much we love you and how much I've been thinking of you, and then also do a little walk down memory lane. So maybe I'll start with the walk down memory lane, and that will produce less tears. Okay, so the first memory that I wanted to tell is that when we went on Johnny Carson. And so we were going to drive to Johnny Carson, and I now realize you guys and my parents were much younger than I am now, and I just assumed you had everything figured out, but I'm guessing that you felt kind of scared and nervous being that young and going right into Hollywood and putting your kids on TV. And when we were on our drive there, we had just dropped the kids off at the Mileses, and then you guys wanted me and Jenny to eat our lunch in the back of the van so that we wouldn't be hungry when we got there. And Jenny had this really cool wicker basket that she put her paper plate in, and then she had Doritos, and I thought her lunch looked so awesome. And so, of course, you guys shared with me, and I got the little wicker basket and the little Doritos so that I could not feel sad that Jenny had a better lunch. But I now realize that you probably just don't want us to get sad and upset that day. But it actually really speaks to how you guys are, that you're so willing to share and give. And I always felt included and loved when I was with you guys. Okay, so my next memory is cleaning the park. I absolutely loved cleaning the park. It's probably the happiest summer of my life. I don't know if the parents could say that, but the kids loved it so much. We had so many games we played. One of the games that we did was when you would wash the big long picnic tables, then we would dance on them and singing in the rain and put on performances. And then we would go play over in the corrals, and we would pretend it was a third dimension, and we scared ourselves so badly. I absolutely loved cleaning the park. I felt like our families were in the heart of Hooper, and I was so proud of us. And then I am so proud of you guys and my parents for doing that hard work and getting the reward to go to Hawaii. I remember how you and my mom had gotten so skinny, and your pictures when you went to Hawaii were so beautiful, and I thought you guys were so beautiful then, and I still do now, and I was so proud of you. I also loved sleepovers at your house. I didn't always make it all night, but I sure loved coming in the beginning. And I thought your house was so nice and peaceful, and you always made us this big, huge bowl of popcorn, and you would put butter over the top. And I always wondered why your popcorn was so good. And then I've now realized, looking back, I really liked butter put on popcorn. So I even looked for the pieces that were kind of like soggy with butter. So you made food right. We loved your cinnamon rolls. So I just remember you always made guests feel so welcome and kind of like family, which is what I felt like. So this next memory is kind of funny. When one time we were swimming in the pool, and you might have just barely had a baby, I don't know, but you told my mom that you had this dream that because of the voluptuousness of that I had asked you in the dream if you had a third breast. And I was like confused as a child. Now that I've grown up and had children and a very voluptuous, curvy body, I now think of you often as I am showing my cleavage, swimming and such, thinking to myself, I totally get that, totally. So I have a really good laugh whenever I think of that, and I think of you. When you and my mom used to go jogging and you would end and separate at my grandma Haas's house, I used to try to run down there on summer mornings and catch you guys because I wanted to say hi to you before you ran home. And it was because I always thought of you as my friend. And it didn't matter if I was a little kid, you treated me like your friend. And you always treated me so important and not like a little kid. And you listened to what I said and thought it was important. We loved to laugh together. You're such a fun, happy soul. And I loved laughing with you. I think of you as my friend, and I am so thankful for the friendship that we have had throughout this lifetime. The Haases and Westons have a lot of history and a lot of memories, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful that it is smatterings of memory through my whole growing up years are with you and your family. And as you've gone through this hard journey, and my mom has kept us very updated, our hearts have broken for you, and we've prayed for you and thought of you. And now, as you're struggling so, I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you and praying for you, and that I am so thankful that I've had a friend like you. And so, friend, I hope that you will have all the choicest blessings and you will feel the love of everyone around you. You've been such a wonderful mother. You are such a wonderful mother and grandma and friend to all. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for playing such a large role in my life and in me growing up. I want you to know that my thoughts or prayers are with you and that I love you.
Hey, Jalene and Dennis. I'm so grateful to send some greetings and been thinking a lot about you and your family. It's been so much fun to take a trip down memory lane. Wow. And we'll see how long I talk, because I realize I could just talk forever about the experiences we've had. I'm thinking back on my life growing up with all of you. Just feel like, you were second parents to me in so many ways. I love you for the fact that you're the kind of people, some of those rare people in my life. I can honestly say it, I don't remember a time in my life that I didn't know Jalene and Dennis. I mean, you've been in my life as far as I can remember. I mean, always have been there. and I can't say how grateful I am. I think one of the things for a kid that a kid loves is that a kid loves to see his mom laughing and smiling. It just seems to be all is right in the world when a mom is laughing and smiling. And I can honestly say, there were probably no times that my mom laughed. I saw my mom laughing and smiling more than when she was talking to Jalene. And I just loved it. I just loved watching you two talk together. You would just laugh uproariously and so many funny things. And we would just catch snippets, but it was just awesome to watch you laugh. But it did have its limits because we knew that you loved to talk to each other. And so when you, especially I remember these mornings when you would walk or jog together, and then you would usually part, as I remember it, at the corner, my Grandma Haas's corner. And so we knew what time you were supposed to be done. And so if I think we would, this is how I remember it, so we'd give like my mom like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then maybe 20 minutes, and that's when we'd come and find her. So we would sort of suspect that you guys were at the corner, just not able to split up because you were talking about something really cool. And so then we would go out, and my memory is that we would always carry one of the babies. So we would make Judy or Millie start crying so that we could hand her off to my mom and make my mom come in and take over because we were tired of babysitting. So I apologize in retrospect to you and my mom for interrupting in sort of strategic ways, but I just loved how much you love to talk to each other. Okay, I also have this other memory. I should have verified this with some people, but this I'm positive this is true. Before they built all the houses in the block between our houses, before Kenny and Darlene had their house, I remember that we would take binoculars and we would go out on our front step and we would use the binoculars to see if the green van was over at your house, if my mom wasn't home on time, or if sometimes, I also have this memory that maybe sometimes after walking or jogging, she would drop you off at your house, and so we would check out to see if she was still there. And sometimes I remember we even called your house phone, and probably again, we probably had put the baby up to the phone to make the baby cry, to make my mom feel guilty and come home. But I even remember one time, I should have checked with my sisters to see if this is true, but I remember one time that we tried to yell across the field to make my mom feel guilty to come home. And for some reason, I think we actually were loud enough. It seems like with the binoculars we saw her turn around. So that probably is not unrealistic, given how loud we could be. But that is such a precious memory to me, is that watching how happy my mom was in her friendship with you. And I just can picture you two just laughing together, and it just warms my heart. So thanks for those beautiful memories in that way. I also wanted to jot down some other things. Oh yeah, I remember Christmas too, that we wanted to get over to the Westons more than we wanted to any of our cousins. We just, that was sort of like, there were perfunctory visits. We had to make some visits, but then people we really wanted to see were the Westons. So many Christmases and those exchanges at our houses or your house, and how much fun that was. It just felt like we were closer than kin, and I loved it. I'm sure a lot of people have talked about this, but that summer where you and my mom, Jalene, when you and my mom took over the park, that was a magical summer. I'm sure it wasn't that magical for you too. I remember, I have this vague memory of coming the day after the 4th of July, and the park was a disaster. And I think we may have picked up, a handful of fireworks scraps and then left the rest to you. We were supposed to do some things, but mostly we would just end up playing. And I hope your girls remember the extra dimensional portal in the lawnmower shed, where there was like a crack up in the ceiling, and like sunlight would come through, and we were so sure that was an extra dimensional portal. And I think Jenny very obligingly pretended that she was like sort of taken over bodily by like an alien force, and Carrie Ann and Sonny and I were running to the corrals. Oh, Jen, you are a great actress. Oh man, I still remember that. But those were magical days, or when the park was flooded, and I have these images are just frozen in my mind of you and my mom working the lawnmowers and the kids getting to do whatever we wanted, having a park, it felt like, to ourselves. So thanks for making memories like that, especially when you two had to work really hard, but it was fantastic for us. Then I was also thinking about, we had so many fun parties. They just were, even every get-together was just like a little party. But I remember this one where we went to the church. Maybe some people can verify this. I know I should have done some cross-checking on some of these things, but this is how I remember. I think it was a New Year's Eve party, because I remember it feels like it was during Christmas break. And so our two families went to the church, and we had the church gym back in the old church, before the church burned down. And I remember watching Watcher in the Woods. Does that sound right? Can anyone verify that? And then I remember thinking, this is so freaky. Why are we watching this together? I was a little bit of a scaredy cat, hence being scared of Jen running out of the, bodily possessed by aliens out of the lawnmower shed. But I remember watching Watcher in the Woods and just being totally terrified at one of our parties. But more than that, I just remember how much fun it was to always be together and have these activities. And then, so many epic trips, but the most epic, of course, was our California trip. That was just unbelievable for a kid. I remember being picked up from school. I remember how excited we were. Our van trailer caravan, CB radios. That was a fun thing that we could talk to each other on CB radios. And I have to say, for the record, Carrie Ann, you and I were the real heroes. I don't know if we've got enough credit since we had to watch the kids at the Miles house while Jenny and Sonny got to go be treated like the child stars that they were. So we were talking about this, and I'll have to put this in here because Rindy and we were just laughing about this a couple weeks ago. That was Brant Miles, of course, and so this was Rindy and Amanda's first encounter with Brant, but that he ran out of the bathroom unclothed after taking a bath, and so Rindy and Amanda still remembered that when the Miles moved to Hooper and joined their class. So great memories. But yeah, so that was, I think, I want to say how noble Carrie Ann and I were to sacrifice and to watch the kids at some stranger's house while the Johnny Carson show went on. But I think the Disneyland made up for it and the rest of the trip, so well done. And I was glad to have such famous sisters. That was, such a source of pride to be able to tell people that my sister and her best friend were on the Johnny Carson show. So what a fantastic time. So many other things that just snapshots. It was like, I grew up with extra sisters, and I just felt so lucky to have so many cool sisters and sort of adopted sisters. Do you remember not too long before I left on a mission, this was the summer before, we all went to Pineview together. I think we'd been camping, and we went to Pineview, and we took a photo with me and all of the girls around me on the beach. I think Danny obligingly, stayed out of the photo, so it was to make even, to add to the effect. And so this was like a month before I left on my mission. And I had that photo in the photos, like my family photo album. And every once in a while, a companion would see that and thinking, what in the world? Where are these gorgeous girls around you, Elder Hawes? And so that raised my esteem in some people's eyes. And it was just a fantastic way to grow up. I was thinking about some things that are really tender to me. I have this memory of receiving my Eagle Scout award, and this was a traumatic weekend. So I broke my arm diving off the slide on Friday, and my Eagle Scout Court of Honor was on Sunday. So I still had my soft cast on and the sling, and it was, I was still feeling so dumb for being so stupid to dive off the slide, and so it was a weird weekend. But I remember you, Jalene and Dennis, coming to the Court of Honor and giving me such a sweet gift, and this still stands out to me because I guess I didn't even, it was so unexpected. I didn't expect to get a gift at the Eagle Scout Court of Honor, and it meant so much to me. It's a book I still have, a book of great stories and essays on priesthood in action, and it just, I don't know, it was just so touching, and you both had a look on your faces like that you were proud of me, and it was really meaningful. Okay, the worst thing is I just saw what I looked like when I cry, so that's the bad thing about these selfie photos. Oh, I used to be under the illusion of that I didn't know what I looked like, but so sorry about that. But you're getting this just raw as is. But it was so meaningful because I just felt this this intense gratitude for you, for the support you were to me, and that kind of kindness and love. And I remember other gifts, beautiful knives, commemorative knives that marked some of these kind of milestones in my life, and it's just these are treasures I still have, and so thank you so much for that. Okay, I need to think more about bodily possession by aliens to go back to that. But I just, what's just made me feeling more than anything is there's something reassuring about knowing that there are people who love you, that there are adults who love you outside of your parents, and I always knew that from you, Jalene and Dennis, that you were pulling for me and wanting the best for me, and treating me better than I deserved. That's part of why I think I feel so lucky that I grew up where I did, is because I had people like you who were second parents to me, and who raised me and taught me and put up with me and were patient with me, and made life so much fun. I'd be totally remiss if I didn't talk about when I worked for Dennis at Dallas Green's warehouse, and I remember one day, this just shows how patient Dennis is. Remember that one day? I hope you don't, actually, so maybe I shouldn't bring this up, but I stacked a whole, I think maybe 2 or 3 pallets worth of tarps, boxed up tarps in that back room, and I came the next day and all of them had fallen over. And of course no one's surprised by this, but Dennis didn't get upset at all, and just let me go back and restack them. But that's just the kind of people you are and were. I count myself so lucky to have grown up under your watchful care and encouragement, and I love you. Love your kids. I'm so grateful for treasured best friends, and that's what all of you Westons are to me. And so it's been so much fun to just even think about some of these things, and so I'm grateful that we got to talk about these. I'm hoping soon that we'll all get to be in the same room, because I would love to hear everyone else's stories. I mean, there's some things that are gonna make us hyperventilate. We'll start laughing so hard. Which, by the way, is what Jenny and Sunny did on the Johnny Carson show. That's what made that show. So I love that part where neither of them can stop laughing. And that sort of is just how I think of our childhoods together, is that everything was so fun. And I think it started from Jalene, you and my mom, just the way you made each other laugh, and it carried over to all of us. Just thanks for so much joy in our lives. I really do love you.
Okay, here's some of my memories, and I'm going to start right from the first. When Greg and I moved into the Hooper Second Ward and built our new home, I didn't really know Dennis and Jalene. I knew of them, and I had met Jalene a couple of times just because of dating Greg, but we were just like acquaintances that we would just say hello to each other. And then I got called in to be in the primary presidency, and I had a brand new baby, and JB was 2 and Sunny was 1, and I just was wondering how I could possibly be in the primary presidency. The primary met every week after school on Wednesday, and I had really been praying and pondering and wondering how I could possibly do this. I just felt so inadequate and so tied down with the babies, and I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And one day when I was praying, a thought came to my mind called Jalene Weston. And I thought, why am I going to call Jalene? And then the thought came to me, Jalene's in young women's, Dennis is in young men's, and Jalene's dad is the bishop. And I almost think Charlene was like the young women's president. I can't remember, but all 4 of you were busy the night of Mutual. And you had 2 little ones. And I didn't know how you were going to do it. So I got the nerve, I dialed your number, Jalene, and proposed the babysitting swap. I would tend Tuesday nights and you would tend Wednesday afternoon. Well, it turned out so beautiful, but the second half of the story that I didn't know about is that Jalene and Dennis had been praying, and the bishop, that something would come up. And Bishop Jay promised them that the Lord would bless them with an answer to their problem, and I was their blessing. It really touched my heart because I, for the first time, really saw the Lord using me to bless someone else's life. And the Lord used Jalene to bless my life. And that was the beginning of our long, long friendship and sisterhood. And we spent hours visiting and laughing and talking, and pretty soon we got so we called each other almost every day, talked for an hour while we both scrubbed our kitchens and used our long telephone cord to reach into the bedrooms and scrub the bathroom, and we just talked and loved each other so much. It was such a joy. Another crazy experience that I wanted to share, of course, and you all know this, Greg got the harebrained idea to clean the park for 6 months and earn him enough money for the 4 of us to go to Hawaii. The problem was Greg was called to be the bishop, and Dennis started having a huge role at his work, and it was left up to Jalene and to me. And I know you all know the stories, but there's just a couple I want to just kind of comment when we could just have our memory jogged a little bit. We used to drive down with our vans, and we would turn them so that the sliding glass doors faced each other, and we would get as close as we could, and we'd open up the sliding glass doors. And the little kids would just play and play. We'd bring Barbies, we'd bring toys, we'd bring snacks, and you guys would just go back and forth from the van, and JB had to be Ken for all the girl Barbies, and it was so funny. And then Jenny had her 5th dimension over in the rodeo corrals, and it was just kind of a crazy, crazy summer. But Jalene and I worked so hard, and we were so thin. We had just dieted all winter long, and now we were so thin and so cute. And one day we were down at the park working, and some big gruff guy comes up to Jalene and says, I want to talk to who's in charge of the park. And she said, I'm in charge of the park. And he said, no, but I really want to talk who really is in charge of the park. So then Jalene pointed over to me. The funny thing is Jalene and I never once discussed who was in charge. If someone had asked me who was in charge, I probably would have pointed over to Jalene. We just worked together. It was never even a thought. So Jalene pointed over to me and figured when he got over to me, he would get the shock of his life. So he came over and said, "Excuse me," and I was working on the mower, I think, behind the tractor, and I stood up and turned around and looked at him, and I said, "Yeah?" He said, "I want to talk to who's in charge of the park." And I said, "I'm in charge of the park." He was so dumbfounded, and he just kind of stormed off. He could not handle that two women were in charge of the park. The other funny story that I just love is one morning Jalene and I came early without the kids because we wanted to get it done early. We had something going on later in the day, and there was a truck parked along the side of the park, right kind of by the entrance where you come in through the gate. And both of us just walked in, didn't think much about it. But after he'd worked a couple of hours, I said to Jalene, "I wonder whose truck that is." And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "Wonder if somebody's inside of it. Wonder if there's a body in there. We're just walking by and not even paying attention." And she said, "No, that's so stupid." And I said, "Well, let's go look." So we both started walking over, and the closer we got, the more nervous we got. And we started kind of tiptoeing, and we snuck up to the side. We looked over the edge, and sure enough, there was a body in the truck. And we both just kind of screamed and took off running. And we woke up the guy. He was asleep. He probably had a hangover. But anyway, he sat up and looked around, and he kind of looked confused, and then he started the truck and drove off. But that was such a funny thing that we did. We had adventures like that all the time down at the park. It was so hard and so crazy, but a lot of crazy and fun memories. And then, of course, we went to Hawaii with the money. And that was the trip of a lifetime. And of course, Greg had to stop at Disneyland on the way. He figured out if we drove to Disneyland, drove to Los Angeles, went to Disneyland for a day, and then got on the plane and fly to Hawaii, it cost the same as if we flew to Hawaii from Salt Lake. So this way we would get an extra day at Disneyland. So we went to Disneyland for a day, then we went to Hawaii and had the trip of a lifetime. And we had so much fun. And a couple memories was Jalene and I were sitting on the beach. It was kind of a private, quiet beach. We were the only ones there, and Dennis and Greg were out snorkeling, and I didn't want to snorkel. I was too afraid, and Jalene didn't really want to either. So we were sitting on the beach just kind of reading a good book, and all of a sudden Jalene just slumped and fell right onto my shoulder, sitting next to me, and I looked at her, and I could tell she had passed out, and she was even kind of twitching a little bit, and I freaked out. So I yelled to Greg and Dennis, "Something's wrong with Jalene, she's passed out." Well, they had masks, snorkels, and flippers on, and they come swimming up to the beach, and they were both so afraid. They come running out of the water with their flippers on, and it was the funniest sight, and I'm the only person on earth that saw that sight. And I'm sorry, I started laughing because it was hilarious. They were falling down, they had their flippers flying everywhere. Well, they finally came over, and Jalene came too, and she was fine. But I still kind of think she might have just been pregnant because Jalene passes out when she's pregnant. That was a funny experience. We went to the PCC and had such a great time. That was one of my very favorite days, and Jalene and I were so cute, and we had our cute outfits on, and we went up and learned how to do the hula dance and have some cute pictures of that. And we just really had a marvelous time. Hawaii was the best. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit too long. I told the kids just a couple of minutes. Okay, and don't forget Jenny's Pennies and Sunny's Funnies. That was such a crazy time. And again, we got to go to to Disneyland and take the kids, and we had a glorious time. We went to Orange Land. We loved Orange Land, and Sunny and Kyle have even been to Orange Land since, and it's still there. That's so fun. And what an experience having the girls on Johnny Carson. And then, of course, we went to Lake Powell. We went to the Lake Powell with the couples first, and then we went with our families, and what a great time we had. And then the four of us, Jalene and Dennis and Greg and me, we all went to Lake Powell a couple times, just the four of us. It was so fun. And one thing we promised when we were at Hawaii, that we would all come back together on our 25th anniversary, and we did, which was amazing because it probably wasn't that convenient. But we all made it, and we had such a glorious time. But my best memories, Jalene, is our friendship. You always had my back, and you are feisty. I am feisty. We probably weren't the best of friends because we kind of got each other going sometimes, but we just jogged and walked and spent hours hashing over problems, how to solve the problems. And it was just such a beautiful friendship. And Jalene, I consider you as one of my sisters. You and I have been far ever as close as any two sisters could be. And I want you to know how much I love you, how much I cherish our friendship, and how much we are all praying for you and cheering for you and just sending our love. You are the best. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.